Welcome to this session of energy conservation and management. Today we'll discuss about that power generation through waste heat. Myself, Anirban Sarkar, Assistant Professor of Mechanical Engineering Department in JS College of Engineering, Kolani, Nadia District. Generation of power from waste heat typically involves using the waste heat from boiler to create mechanical energy that then drives an electric generator. While these power cycles are well developed, new technologies are being developed that can generate electricity directly from heat, such as thermoelectric and piezoelectric generation. When considering power generation options for waste heat recovery, an important factor to keep in mind that the thermodynamic limitations on power generation at different temperatures. The efficiency of power generation is heavily dependent on the temperature of waste heat sources. In general, power generation from waste heat has been limited to only medium to high temperature waste heat sources. However, advance in alternative power cycles may increase the feasibility of the generation at low temperature. While maximum efficiency at this temperature is lower, these systems can still be economical in recovering large quantities of energy from waste heat. Now, options for heat recovery via power generation. As you can see, this is a chart. So here it is given that in thermal conversion technology and temperature range, typical source of waste heat and approximate capital costs. So in thermal conversion technology, if we choose for traditional steam cycle, temperature range should be medium to high. Typical sources of waste heat, that is exhaust from gas turbines, reciprocating engines, incinerators, and furnaces. Capital cost, that is relatively measured in, that is in dollar, that is 1100 to 1400 per kilowatt. Kalina cycle, that is temperature range low to medium. Here also typical source of heat, that is gas turbine exhaust, boiler exhaust, and cement kilns. Capital cost, that is relatively same as traditional steam cycle. It is in between 1100 to 1500 per kilowatt. In organic Rankine cycle, if we choose the thermal energy conversion technology, organic Rankine cycle, that is the working fluid here is an organic fluid. Temperature range should be in between lower to medium, we can choose, and it can generate power also. Typical sources of waste heat: gas turbine exhaust, boiler exhaust, heated water, cement kiln, etc. Now, as this cycle is work relatively lower temperature, so capital cost is slightly higher, and it is ranges in between 1500 to 3500 per kilowatt. Thermoelectric generation, which is very popular today, temperature ranges medium to high, and in it is in developmental way, and there is no practical industrial applications not in this sector. The capital cost is very high as it is in developing, that is 20,000 to 30,000, 20,000 to 3 lakhs per kilowatt. Piezoelectric generation, which is very popular today, and temperature ranges is lower, and in industrial application it is not yet applied. Piezoelectric generation from the waste heat, it is found in relatively higher, that is 10 lakhs per kilowatt. And thermal photovoltaic system not yet demonstrated in industrial applications. So these are still, that is thermoelectric generation, piezoelectric generation, and thermal photovoltaic cell. These are all in the developmental stage, and so the relative cost, capital cost to install this type of sources in industries relatively high. So yet not the industrial sector, it can be found this type of power generation from the waste heat. Now the very popular, that is generating power via mechanical work. So first of all, the mechanical work can be generated via waste heat through steam Rankine cycle. The most frequently used system for power generation from waste heat involves using the heat to generate steam, which then drives a steam turbine. A schematic cycle is shown in the next slide. In this case, we can say the traditional steam Rankine cycle is most efficient option for waste heat recovery from exhaust streams with temperature above about 340 degree to 370 degree centigrade. At lower waste heat temperature, steam cycles became less cost effective since low pressure steam will require bulkier equipment. Moreover, low temperature waste heat may not provide sufficient energy to superheat the steam, which is the requirement for preventing steam condensation and erosion of the turbine blade. Therefore, low temperature heat recovery applications are better suited for organic Rankine cycle or Kalina cycle, which use fluids with lower boiling point temperature compared to steam. So this is the schematic diagram of waste heat recovery with Rankine cycle. In this figure is self-explanatory that from the waste heat process, it is going to a via heat exchanger, which is known as evaporator or waste heat recovery boiler. That heat utilizes fluids inside, that is flowing as an working fluid, that generating power, and by which we can get the electricity. So thus we are applying waste heat into converted into electricity at medium to high temperature range waste heat. Organic Rankine cycle. The organic Rankine cycle, in brief it is called ORC, operates similar to steam Rankine cycle. but uses an organic working fluid instead of steam. Options include, that is, silicon oil, propane, halocarbons, that is freons, isopropanes, isobutanes, etc., which have a lower boiling point and higher vapor pressure than water. This allows the Rankine cycle to operate with significantly lower waste heat temperature, sometimes as low as 150 Fahrenheit, that is 66 degrees centigrade. The most appropriate temperature range for ORC cycle will depend on the fluid used, as fluids thermodynamic properties will influence the efficiency of the cycle at various temperatures. In comparison with water vapor, the fluids used in organic Rankine cycles have a higher molecular mass, enabling compact design, higher mass flow, and higher turbine efficiency. It is as high as 80 to 85% found, the turbine efficiency. However, since cycle functions at lower temperatures, the overall efficiency is only around 10 to 20%, depending on the temperature of the condenser and evaporator. While this efficiency is much lower than a high temperature steam power plant. That is, in general, the efficiency of an high temperature steam power plant in variation with 30 to 40 degrees centigrade. It is important to remember that low temperature cycles are inherently less efficient than high temperature cycles. Limits on efficiency can be expressed according to Carnot efficiency, the maximum possible efficiency of a heat engine operating between two temperatures. A Carnot engine operating with a heat source of 150 degrees centigrade and rejecting it at 25 degrees centigrade is only about 30% efficient. In this slide, an efficiency of 10 to 20% is a substantial percentage of theoretical efficiency, especially in comparison to other temperature options such as piezoelectric generation, which are only 1% efficient. So though the organic Rankine cycle we get much lesser efficiency, but the piezoelectric and the modern technology that we are using, the direct conversion, where the efficiency is much lower than the organic Rankine cycle. And although the high capital cost is required for both these cases, so industrialists or the industry persons may choose the organic Rankine cycle. But the maintenance of this organic Rankine cycle is need to be very careful, as because the working fluid here we are using, that is silicon oil, halocarbons, that is freon, isopropane, isobutane, etc. If this leakage takes place, then it will be harmful to the atmosphere and the worker that those are in plant. So safety is the first. So if we go for this organic Rankine cycle, one must be sure that sufficient technology must be used so that the leakage chance or the other factors of the possibility of the environmental impact and the health impact of the worker should keep in mind. Now, there are another cycle with slightly variation of this, that is called Colina cycle. The Colina cycle is a variation of the Rankine cycle using a mixture of ammonia and water as an working fluid. So, in case the Colina cycle is much safer than the organic Rankine cycle, as because ammonia is also toxic, but as it is mixes with water, that ammonia is diluted in this case. So ammonia, it will be to some extent will be safe from the organic Rankine cycle, where other halocarbons and isopropane, isobutane, freon, etc. are used, if that and that one is have not environmental impact if leakage takes place. So ammonia is slightly better working fluid. A key difference between single fluid cycle and cycles that use binary fluids is the temperature profile during boiling and condensation. For single fluid cycle, example that is steam or organic cycle, the temperature remains constant during boiling. As heat is transferred to the working media, that is water, the water temperature slowly increases to boiling temperature, at which point the temperature remains constant until all the water has evaporated. In contrast, a binary mixture of water and ammonia, that is, each of which has a different boiling point, which increases its temperature during evaporation. This allows better thermal matching with the waste heat source and with the cooling media in the condenser. Consequently, this system achieves significantly greater energy efficiency. Now, another type of conversion, that is direct electrical conversion device. Whereas traditional power cycle involves using heat to create mechanical energy and ultimately electrical energy, new technologies are being developed that can generate electricity directly from heat. These includes thermoelectric, thermionic, and piezoelectric devices. There are no evidence that these systems have been tested in industrial waste heat recovery applications, although a few have undergone some prototype testing is in applications such as heat recovery in automotive vehicles. Now, another direct electric generation, that is thermoelectric generation. In case of thermoelectric material are semiconductor solid that allows direct generation of electricity when subjected to a temperature difference. These systems are based on phenomena known as Seebeck effect. When two different semiconductor materials are subject to a heat source and heat sink, a voltage is created between the two semiconductors. Conversely, thermoelectric materials can also be used for cooling or heating by applying electricity to dissimilar semiconductors. Thermoelectric technology has existed for a long time. The thermoelectric effect was first discovered in 1821, but has seen limited use due to low efficiencies and high cost. Most thermoelectric generation systems in use have efficiencies of 2 to 5%. These have mainly been used to power instruments on spacecraft or in very remote locations. However, recent advancement in nanotechnology have enabled advanced thermoelectric material that might achieve conversion efficiency 15% or greater. A recent study by PNNL and BCS Incorporated examines that opportunity for thermoelectric generation in various industrial waste heat stream and identifies performance requirement and R&D needs. The study concluded that advanced thermoelectric packages would be appropriate in medium to high temperature, high flow rate exhaust streams where facilities have little use for recovery waste heat. These things can be applied. Two example opportunities are glass furnace and molten metal furnace. Before thermoelectric materials can be used in these sectors, advances are needed in both thermoelectric production technology and in heat transfer system. Competing with current electricity cost will mandate a thermoelectric package cost about $5 per watt instead of currently $30 per watt. Low cost, high volume production method for thermoelectric materials must be developed in order to achieve this goal. Meanwhile, maintaining a high temperature differential across thin thermoelectric device will present a significant engineering challenge. Obtaining high heat transfer rates will require advanced transfer material and heat exchange system with the high heat transfer coefficient. So in this figure, how the electrical power is generated by the thermoelectric material, the schematic diagram is as the heating is done on an hot junction, that is thermoelectric junction. A current is flowing from in a P junction to N junction, and in an P-type semiconductor and N-type semiconductor, if it is connected by some resistance, so that will electrical power can be generated. Now, piezoelectric power generation. So, piezoelectric power generation is an option for converting low temperature waste heat to electrical energy. piezoelectric devices convert mechanical energy in the form of ambient vibration to electric energy. A piezoelectric thin film membrane can take advantage of oscillatory gas expansion to create a voltage out. A recent study identified several technical challenges associated with this technology. So the main challenges with this piezoelectric power generation, that is low efficiency, is only about 1%. Difficulties remain in obtaining high enough oscillatory frequency. Current devices operate at around 100 Hz and frequency closer to 1000 Hz are needed. It has high internal impedance. It has complex oscillatory fluid dynamics within the liquid or vapor chamber. This need long-term reliability and durability and high cost, that is $10,000 per watt. So it is in development. While the conversion of piezoelectric power generation technology is currently very low, there may be opportunity to use this cascading, in which case efficiencies could reach about 10%. Other key issues are the cost of manufacturing piezoelectric devices, as well as the design of heat exchanger to facilitate sufficient heat transfer rates across a relatively low temperature difference. So piezoelectric power generation has an opportunity to, in industrial sector, it has a very much big opportunity where we can get or maximize the power, or from the waste heat we can generate the power. Now thermionic generation. Thermionic device operates similar to thermionic devices, thermoelectric devices. However, whereas thermoelectric devices operates according to the Seebeck effect, thermionic device operates via thermionic emissions. In these systems, a temperature difference drives the flow of electrons through a vacuum from a metal to metal oxide surface. One key disadvantages of this system is that they are limited to applications with high temperature, that is above 1000 degrees centigrade. However, some development has been enabled their use at about 100 to 300 degree centigrade. Thermophotovoltaic generator is another type of technology that is in developing way, that used to convert radiant energy into electricity. These systems involves a heat source, an emitter and radiation filter, and a photovoltaic cell. As the emitter is heated, it emits electromagnetic radiations. The PV cell converts this radiation to electrical energy. The filter is used to pass radiation at wavelengths that match the photovoltaic cell, while reflecting remaining energy back to the emitter. These systems would potentially enable new method for waste heat recovery. A small number of prototype system has been built for small burner application and in a helicopter gas turbine. Now, evaluating selected applications for waste heat opportunity and practices. Multiple energy intensive processes were investigated in order to identify recovery practices and quantity of undercovered waste heat. Processes selected for evaluation in this study were chosen by focusing on most energy intensive industry, that is glass, cement, iron, steel, and identifying some of the largest energy consuming processes. This investigation helped highlighting trends in waste heat losses and opportunity areas for waste heat recovery. For each process analyzed, waste heat quantity was evaluated by estimating the typical percentage of energy inputs lost to flue gas waste heat, estimation total energy consumed by the process in the country, and then calculating approximate total waste heat loss from the applications. The percent of waste heat loss varies for different furnaces depending on the flue gas composition and exhaust temperatures. In many cases, the process analyzed already include waste heat recovery. In this case, efforts were made to estimate the fraction of production currently using waste heat recovery. In case where heat recovery is already in place, estimates of waste heat evaluates the heat contained in the flue gas existing the recovery devices. Therefore, this study only evaluates the unrecovered waste heat. So by this, we will end the today's session. Thank you for joining this session.